That's our visioning. It's come from our people. Maybe the challenge for you as non-Indigenous people is to see, well, what can you do to work within the boundaries of NIACA to help our people? Thank you.
Thanks, Leo and Tristan. And look, before we move on, I'll just do a little bit of summation of that. So you get a bit of a sense of what we've been talking about the last 2 days and the great work that Leo's been part of and a lot of others, and the history of this. That this has been on the national front for us for a long, long time. And what does that mean? And what does that mean in this space of arts front? And I think when you're there, that challenge, what are you doing? You've already done part of it. And of course, we've been here to help you with that. And that's the awareness that this sort of movement has always been going on. And have you been aware of it? And how are you supporting it? Because what you actually are experiencing is a culmination of a lot of energy over a long period of time. And what's been brought together these last 2 years behind that closed door that you don't know about. And it's mindful to take forward into the future. There's a lot of passion there. There's a lot of energy there. But there's also a lot of anger and a lot of hurt because we've been separated. So that's what the whole essence of the authority is. How can we stand up and be, to share as well, but to firmly plant our feet and say, hey, those past 60,000 years and millennium past aren't just that snapshot in the past. And this isn't about our future for ourselves, our kids, our grandkids, our survival as people. Who we actually are, because if you lose that, this country is nothing. But also what we also carry with us is our obligations to our past. And it was great having Bob here to remind the work that's been going on for 30, 40 years. For this, it's not just arts and culture and big institutions and that. When we go into these big institutions and we see our cultural, relics as people call them and that, our art and that, displayed to be celebrated, behind those scenes are the bodies of our ancestors. And this man over here has been at the forefront of trying to get that back to be reburied to where they are. So this is what we also carry with us, these obligations, because it's not just about how we can express ourselves. We've got our ancestors sitting in cardboard boxes on metal shelves for people to play with. And that's at the very essence. That's what our culture is. Not only our expressions, but our obligations to our past to carry that forward to the future. So following on from that, where are we going with this? As I said, it's the beginning of an awareness. Educate yourselves. Be aware. Because the future, yes, it is together. We're wanting to lead the way. What do you take out of that? I'm saying a very simple thing, and this is the lesson that the rest of the sector can actually learn from a First Nations experience. Because we talk about what is the relevance of the sector, what is social capital. We all say the importance of arts and culture to the social fabric of society, but what does that mean? What is our value proposition? And I'll just leave you with a little anecdote that happened probably 6 weeks ago at a big national institution, and I ran into a local traditional owner who was coming out. He just done a welcome to country, as we're all experienced of that. And we got to talking about, what does this organisation mean to you as a traditional? You just done a welcome to country with this big national conference on I think, interpretive exhibition development or something like that. And I asked him this question. This is the question that everyone can ask, whether it's in your art form or your organisation, if you come from one, or your practice. I asked him, do you feel ownership of this space? And you know what his reply was? And forgive me for swearing. He said, mate, fuck, I don't even feel welcome here. But he's just given a welcome to country. And this is an organisation that's been around for a very long time, has huge amounts of collateral in this cultural space, and the local traditional owner doesn't even feel welcome walking in the door. But he brings that obligation to at least get out there and do that welcome to make people acknowledge and that. But that's the battle that he's fighting, and that's the battle we're all fighting. So what can we do from here? When you talk with a blackfellow, or you go, I just ask that question, what am I doing to make them feel ownership of what I do, my organisation? Because if you can sort that problem out, well, that's your value proposition for society, isn't it? You start with the first peoples and then everyone else comes on it. But I'm really excited to hear from other sections that what we've been doing, so I'll throw it over to Anne, and thank you.
So